Hi, and welcome back to the sixth section where we're going to learn how to create a side menu and how to animate it. We're also going to learn how to set up the SS symbol icons in code, and we're going to detect the screen dimensions so that we can animate our menu adaptively across devices. Alright, so far we're stuck on this single screen, and I think it's been a good experience because we're not too distracted by creating multiple files, which can lead to more errors. But it's time to upgrade our skills and build a multi-screen experience. So let's build the home screen. And first I'm going to enable the left navigation from here, or I can do Command O to disable the left navigation. And from here I can just right click it, click on New File, select SwiftUI View. And then I'm going to name this Home and then press Enter. So this will create a new screen, and here I have it selected, and I can just resume the preview just like what I had with the content view. So I'm going to disable the left navigation, Command O, and we're good to go. So if you look at the screen right here, we're going to build this list of menu items, and we're going to have this menu that's going to sit on top of the home interface. Okay, so we're going to set this text to my account. Then we're going to set the font. So Command Shift L for font. We're going to use headline. The headline is nice because it has this slightly bold text. Now we're going to bring an image to the left. So let's go to Views and search for image and drag and drop right to the left. It's going to create the H tag for you. And the image, we just need to set it. But the thing is, you can use the image to set the SF symbol icon. So we're gonna have to start typing inside the parentheses system name. So you can use the auto-completion. And here, this is where we're gonna put the name of the icon. Going to the SF Symbols app, we can search for, let's say, card. We can use any of these. So just remember the name of it, and then using that name, we're gonna put it right here. So credit card, and voila. One thing that I will say about SF symbols after watching all the WWDC videos is that Apple is really pushing it, and I really believe that you should use it in your app. Even though some icons will have pixel perfection issues, at the same time, we are using now 2x and 3x screens where a lot of our users won't notice the difference. And secondly, I have watched a WWDC video in which they say that they do a lot of the hard work to round the pixels for these icons. What you see right here is not representative of what you're gonna see on your phone. In fact, after looking at the icons from my phone, they actually look really good. And I say that as a designer. So for this icon, I'm going to add some customization. The first thing is we can set the image scale for the SF symbol. So I'm going to search image scale, and it's this one. It's called symbol image scale, and then double click. You can set the size of that symbol. So we have .medium, .large, and .small. The one that I'm going to use is .large. In fact, if you look at the SF symbols page, you can see that you have small, medium, large, but also you can set the outline weight. So using font weight, all of these things can be previewed in the SF symbols app by switching between thin, regular, heavy, and so on. If you select this, you can go to File, Export, Custom Template, and then it's going to create SVG. And from here, you can use that file to bring that to Sketch and see how it's going to look like at different sizes. Okay, so let's set the color for the icon. We're gonna need the modifier called foreground, and we're gonna set the color to a custom one. Color, it's going to be icons. I seem to run into an issue where it doesn't update the color, so what I'm gonna do is click on play and hope for the best. So now you can see that it's better. Next, I want to add a frame for the icon because some of them have different sizes. When you work with icon assets, they are exported as is, meaning that they don't have a frame. And when you set a frame, it means that all the icons will always be centered perfectly. So let's set the frame. I'm gonna set it to 32 by 32. I can stop this so I can see what kind of frame that I have. And whenever I have an asset of an icon, it's always gonna be centered within. Therefore, it's gonna be well aligned with the other icons when I'm gonna put this into a list. Okay, so now let's create a VStack so that we can have multiple of these items. So I'm gonna embed this into a VStack, and then I'm going to create a component so that I don't have to repeat so much code. So right click on the H stack and then extract subview. We're gonna name that menu row. Okay, so now that we have a row, we can duplicate that multiple times. So I'm gonna do another one and another one. So now we have 3 items, and we would like to customize the values of each of them by sending some custom data. So what we're gonna do is set that data right here in the menu row. We're gonna set var, and we would like to customize the values of each of them by sending some custom data. So what we're gonna do is set that data right here in the menu row. We're gonna set var image is equal to, and then we can put some default values such as the credit card, and then var text is equal to, let's say, my account. And now instead of hard coding these values, I can just replace it with the newly declared values. So in this case, it's gonna be just image, and for the text, I'm going to replace it with text. Now I can go back to my menu row, and at this point I can decide to give custom data. So let's go and type image, and here we can use the auto completion. It's already telling us what kind of values that it's expecting. So in this case, I'm gonna set double quotes person crop circle. And feel free to use whichever you want to use from the SS Symbols app. So here I'm gonna put my account. I can basically resume this, and you can already see that the icon has changed. And so let's do the rest by typing image and press enter, image, press enter. This one I'm gonna put credit card. The text is gonna be billing. Then this one I'm gonna put person dot end person, and it's going to be team. I can create a fourth one since it's exactly like my design, and copy and paste the whole row. And here I'm gonna use arrow dot U-turn dot down. We're gonna put sign out. And again, feel free to use any of the icons that you find in the SF symbols. Just be careful that try not to use the ones that have this exclamation point. It just means that it's a very specific symbol that is attached to a specific feature, and it has to be used that way exactly. But for the other ones, you will be totally fine. Okay, so let's just fix the alignment. I'm gonna go to the VStack, go to inspect, and set the alignment to left. And there you go. We have these icons that are in a frame, and it's properly aligned by centering. Regarding the point that I made about frame, you're gonna see that when I comment this, it's gonna break my layout. You can see that because each of these icons have different sizes, they're not gonna be consistent. So by giving it a frame, now it's consistent, it's properly aligned, and all the text, most importantly, are left aligned with each other. Okay, so let's finish this session by creating the container that's going to appear on top. And we're gonna have some padding on the right. So going back to the code, I'm just gonna find my VStack right here. Let's just fix the indentation first. And I'm going to add a background, and the background is going to be white. Then I'm gonna add some corner radius. It's going to be 30. And then the shadow, which is going to be 20. Then we need some padding, of course. So first of all, we're gonna take the entire space. So we're gonna push using a spacer right after the menu rows. So we're pushing completely to the top. And also we wanna use the entire width. So we're gonna use this technique that we learned earlier using the frame. And instead of using height and width, we're gonna use min width, set it to 0, and then max width setting to infinity. So I'm gonna fix my indentation and also add some padding. And maybe we can set it to 30. Let's also add a spacing between each item, so spacing to 20. Now I want to have some spacing from the right so that it doesn't take the entire space. I already have the padding, but the padding is applied to the frame before the frame is set up. So what I can do is set the padding after the corner radius is set up. So here I'm gonna set padding, and instead of all, I'm gonna set it for trailing. So the trailing is from the right side, and I'm gonna set this to 60. One last step before we go, I wanna align these to the left, so I'm just gonna go right here to this H stack. Let me just fix the indentation first. So we have the image and then we have the text. We just need to add spacer, and that's it. Let me resume this, and voila. It's just, I promise, there's just a bit of spacing that I want to have additionally from the top to make it more balanced. So I'm gonna add a new padding, then from the top, maybe set 20 more, like this. Okay, so this feels a lot better. And if you look at the design, there's a bit more spacing here too. Alright, so that's it for this session. I wanted to show you this, how to create a menu, how to use SF symbols, in what context, how to set up really cool spacing, a lot of paddings, and passing data into your component. I think it's very valuable to a lot of designers and developers. In the next session, I'm going to show you how to create a list from an array, and then how to create a data model and use that to loop through those items and do that list automatically instead of having to copy and paste menu rows 4 times. Thank you so much for following along this far. Hope to see you in the next session.